Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So the raids are about to start, and it is a new iteration of the raids. We are not only gonna get the improved rewards, well, the radiance rewards, but also we do need to take on a completely different set of champions. They will be Gentle, Sasquatch, and Rintra. And now every single one of those possess kind of unique type problems. Not even going to go into the analysis boss because I'm sure that we're going to tackle that together the best way we can. I personally, I kind of like fighting analysis, but again, we're going to get to that when we get to it. But there are several things different. Number one, Bam actually did mention or promise us something about changing their interest neutralize, but it doesn't seem like they have. It really doesn't. So, the existence of Rintra is the most problematic thing here. Obviously, Sasquatch and everybody else, that can be a problem. But Rintra immediately invalidates just about entire Tactician's pool. And that exactly is going to be what I try to do in this video. We are going to take a look at the options, kind of pre-planned. Obviously, it's impossible to say all the champion combinations and the buff combinations and what would work, what would not work, but still we can kind of have a general idea. Number one, we do need to pay attention to the roll boost as well. I'm quickly gonna go through them and effectively explain that. For Assault class, typically, Crit Crusher and Prowess Ender have been like exclusively the ones that get used. For whatever reason, even though Kabam has buffed up the dot boosts like twice, they're just never as good. I have brought in like dot champions, I think twice, and both times it was miserable and it's just not good enough, nowhere near enough damage. Now, Prowess Ender is great for a handful of champions, and we're gonna check out which ones, but basically you get extra prowess, tons of special damage. And Crit Crusher is kind of similar. You get your precisions and they increase basically all the damage that you do, so that it is well, quite helpful, because with precision passive, critical rating and critical damage rating is also increased, so you crit and you do a ton of damage. So going back to the assault pool, you can see that it's bigger now. Kabam's actually expanded it to 30 champions from the previous 20. And there are some interesting choices available for sure as well. I do think that the champions that we do go up against, however, will kind of largely dictate who we use. But in Assault class, it's still going to be Purgatory. Purgatory is still going to be one of the better options. You might need to go from throwing one level 3 to a handful of level 3s, but ultimately Purgatory is still viable here. Still good, still useful. So I do think if you do have Assault class, then most of the people will end up going with Purgatory. Isn't that bothered by the Neutralize in day-to-day. And I think she'll still largely work. That said, obviously we do have Human Torch, which soon is going to be out of the 7 star, but I doubt that many people would bring that in. I do think maybe Sackhand's Spider-Man could be quite good for these type of fights, because he is reasonably good for every champion involved in there. He's solid for Rintra, he's solid for Sasquatch, he's solid for Gentle as well with parry heavy strategy. I don't know how well that would go down in raids. That's right. I still think most of the people will end up using Purgatory. Again, I just don't see the dot buffs. I have never heard about them being used for the most part. Okay, so Prowess Ender and Crit Crusher. That is where we're at. So yeah, we do have Starkey. We do have Purgatory. I think Cyclops might be a hidden gem, honestly, for this. He doesn't rely on buffs, they're passives, outside of his true focus, which he always has active anyways. And it's also like kind of not needed particularly here, but I think he could work very well with either one of those. With either Prowess buff or the crit buff, but mainly Prowess one, probably because of the way he can spam specials. So I do think that the newly buffed Cyclops could potentially be one of the best options as well. I wanted to give that shot. As well as Kitty Pride, I think could be awesome. But definitely more so the Cyclops. Let me know what you guys think. And most definitely, if you do end up using Cyclops, then yeah, keep us posted. How did that go? But besides that, again, we do have Purgatory as the best assault options, I think. Now let's take a look at the Vanguard. And the Vanguard, I think, is also fairly solid. Because with Vanguard, again, how couple of kind of like the dominant buffs. Namely, the critical armor. Let's face it. It's the increase any raid favor gain for each armor buff. Combo ending attacks grant 45-second 10 armor up buff. Each armor buff active grants 45% critical rating. Gain critical damage rating equal to the armor rating. Iron Man, Colossus, Red Skull, all have been phenomenal with that. Shield Smasher, but Shield Smasher I haven't really seen get used that much. It's mainly this one. Weak Spot I do think was bugged as well for the last time around, where you do work around weakness and taunt effects, but it's always been the critical armor that we do use there. Which again is gonna kind of make it tricky here, will it not? Because of the champions that we go up against. So again, let's take a look at our choices here. We do have the Red Skull. That would be good, let's say, for most. For Sasquatch fight, I think he would be good against Gentle as well. It would be awful against Rintra unless they change the neutralize, obviously. Typically, in the previous version of Raid, Iron Man was again one of the MVPs. Now, though, looking at the otherwise available options, I'm thinking whether She-Hulk with one of the buffs would not be a very, very good option. Where increased raid favor for each weakness. When punishing the opponent's heavy or special attack, inflict them with 45-second weakness. Each weakness or taunt also grants all attacks 40% of attacks damage burst. I think this could potentially be good with She-Hulk and Silk. Yeah, I think this actually could be one of the better options there as well. Silk and She-Hulk does sound quite promising here. And again, let me know if you guys have any other ideas, because I'm just effectively here brainstorming with you, because again, this is completely new. So yeah, Silk and She-Hulk should hopefully be quite good here for this stuff. And then again, historically it's been Colossus, Red Skull, Iron Man with the armor buff. Tactician is the biggest problem now, because there's just no way to put it. Unless Kabam changes the neutralize, this entire champion pool effectively is kind of ruined. Because number one, let's take a look at the Tactician nodes. And there, the one kind of like viable, the best buff they have is the unparalleled buffs. Where you do gain a ton of different types of buffs whenever you punish opponents' specials or heavies. That's how you gain more raid fervor. And this is the one that people generally use for Tacticians. Super buffs can also here be quite useful, but just about everybody is using unparalleled buffs. So knowing that, we are facing a problem here. Because you don't need to have a ton of buffs for unparalleled buffs to work and be good. But as soon as the Rinter becomes involved, yes, no way. There is just no way. So the best idea, I think, is if you are a Tactician, don't do the Rinter fight, really. Because Rinter just completely shuts it all down. That's why it is very weird, in my opinion, that Kabam has not yet made a proper raids post. Or did they and we didn't notice? I don't know whether they did, but they didn't talk about that. About anything. 1 second. Let's go to Kabam forums. News announcements. Season 29, seasoning update, solo war, anti-cheating, alliance quest raids, June update. Okay. So we have the bosses. They did mention again Rinter getting changed, but nothing concrete is here. So it just feels wrong, man. It really does feel wrong that Rinter is there. Because Rinter eliminates the entire Tactician pool. So, I think the best option here is just let your teammates take down the Rintra, and then you kind of focus on the other two champions, other three champions, and make sure you're useful for that. In which case, obviously, we do have Juggernaut, because I think Juggernaut is going to be very good for Sasquatch. I think Juggernaut is going to be very good for Gentle as well, because you can, take the hit when he goes unstoppable and doesn't completely ruin you. It's going to be hard against the Nihilus probably, but, potentially decent if you can keep nullifying his rod and then stagger it potentially as well, feeding Mystic Dispersion, why not? Serpent is a very interesting addition. I just think he's horrible fit for the champions here, so I don't necessarily recommend that. Again, there will be a lot of champions here that I think against different defenders would be great. Like I think even Dark Phoenix could potentially be amazing for some here with the increased potency on the Fury buffs or unparalleled buffs. But when it comes to fighting these defenders, again, it's like you can do Jugs, I guess. I think Kushala has never been particularly great for this. Venom with unparalleled buffs, but again, you can only fight Nihilus and Sasquatch with Venom then, because Gentle is bleeding and that's going to be awful. I think this is such a weird combination of the defenders and the champion pool that we have to use. It's so misaligned. Odd. So we do have Jags here and don't do range, obviously. Then Superior Iron Man is typically quite good, and again, it's just don't do intro, I suppose. You could be okay. Hulkling is back on the menu. Hulkling was great with unparalleled buff, depending the level of play you're at, but again, just don't do intro, I suppose. And that is the big point of worry here. Because Vicious Placebo, I don't think it's particularly a great one. Null Break, relies on armor breaks, and again, you do have Rintra and Sasquatch. Rintra is pseudo-immune to armor breaks. Sasquatch is fully immune to armor breaks. So I think this is not a great buff there immediately. It's just these ones, and you're not gonna have a good time. Just won't have, like, if you're a tactician, not gonna be great. Further on as well, none of them even deal with passive unstoppable. So it's not like you're going to be amazing against Gentle. So yeah, my heart goes out to the Tactician Club, which is probably where I'm going to end up being. Because it's very weird. But that's what I think of the upcoming raids. Obviously, depending on, what I do and how I end up playing, I might upload my raids run as well. I think Tacticians are by far the worst group to be in right now, based on defenders. Again, with Vanguard, I think we do have the Silk and the She-Hulk for the Taunt and Weakness buff, and then we have the armor hack for Colossus, for Red Skull, for Iron Man. Probably for, them. And then with Assault, it's just going to be Purgatory, and I do have sleeping feeling that Cyclops is going to be amazing for that stuff. So that's where we land. This is going to be odd. Well, let's hope it goes fine, right? What's the worst thing that can happen? It's not like Kabam has ever screwed up raids. I'll catch you guys soon. Bye-bye. Hello there, guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all